Okay everyone, this is my new Swingliner machine. I designed this with cartridges in mind. I have been working since 2012 to come up with a cartridge liner. And there are people that say, oh yeah, this can line with cartridges, whatever. And technically it can put a hole in the skin with a liner needle. But cartridges, just kind of to get that magical effortless line, is a difficult task. And it's taken me a lot of steps to get to this point. I made this to where there's no real tuning involved with it. It has a thumpy setting, like a sharp setting, and it has a passive setting. And there's no stroke adjustment, there's no give adjustment. I just wanted it to be simple and to the point. Now, setting this up, one of the things, just because of how the swing arm pivots like this, and with the cartridge with all the tension on it, I actually have these nylon nipples that act as a bearing that basically allow the needle bar to pivot on here without catching and flopping around. Some needle bars, including the Cheyenne, when I bought this grip, the loop was a little too tight. And I have these taper pins that I send out with the machine. And what you do is you can put the taper pin through the loop, push it through, and it may be a little bit harder depending on how tight it is. Just double check with your drive bar. Just make sure it doesn't bind up. You may not have to do anything. But anyways, then it'll fit on to that nipple. With a standard needle, you don't really have to worry about that. I do recommend my hard black nipples. You can see I just have my normal nipple on here. It just doesn't really need the hard nylon. And it may be a little bit more raspy. It may spit a little bit on you if you do use the nylon with a standard needle. You may still want to spread the needle loop. If that needle loop is too tight, it'll still want to grip that needle and flop it side to side, and you might get some spitting that way. Okay. So, also, I have my geometry set up. I kind of based all my geometry off of using a 1-inch coil machine, with short coils. So it's about 1 1/8 from the post to the tube vise. If that means anything to you as far as how long your needle bar needs to be. When I got the Cheyenne grip, and I also have an FK Irons grip, their needle bars that they sent with it were the right size. But I've gotten others that it seems like they're 1/2 inch too long. So I don't know what kind of machines they're supposed to be used on, but I can't imagine it being useful for anything. Okay, this is a number 28 rubber band. With cartridges, you can get away with a number 12 rubber band. But with standards, I do like the thicker one. I'm just gonna put that over and twist it and put it over the motor shell, just like that. With a standard needle, you may need more tension, and you can always go up and over the binding post to get more tension. And then you can even pull it around and kind of get more tension on your rubber band just by snugging it up more around here. I kind of, with cartridges, look the least amount of tension, so sometimes I'll put it around and just put it up and over just like so. You basically just need to keep that needle bar from falling off. Okay, I like to run this machine between 4 and 6 volts. That seems to be the good range of this machine. At 4 volts and like 4.5 and stuff, I might actually, that's where I do like my whip shading. If I feel like it, depending on the skin or the mag, or if you do your black and gray with a punchy machine, you'll really like it for that setting. Here I'm at 4.6 on the sharp setting. Now the sharp setting is with the positive up. Not all clip cords are marked properly, so you're gonna have to just check and kind of feel it on the skin. But one way definitely feels sharper on the skin than the other. When I flip it, you might not be able to hear it on here. It may sound harsher or a little bit more abrasive this way, but when you feel it, it's a little softer. It hits the skin a little bit smoother than the other way. Now it's at 3.8 volts. And it's still punching it. It'll still penetrate the skin while it's running really slow. 5.5 is a good for like your 7 liners and 9 liners maybe. You can go up to 6.3, 6.6. That's a little fast. I feel that's a little excessive, and you start to lose the magic of the hit. And that was on the more passive setting. You can definitely tell when the sharper at higher volts, when it's on the sharper setting, you can hear the difference even more. But definitely feel it. You know, you feel it on your thumb. It feels sharper that way than this way. You can definitely feel a difference, and your customer will feel a difference too. It definitely hurts less with the positive down, but you're not puncturing the skin as sharply this way. As far as clip cords go, I prefer these coil spring style clip cords because they're flexible. They can kind of maneuver, they can get down. If you have the kind with the flat spring in it, they tend to pretty much be very regimented. They only want to go one way and they don't want to twist or anything. So I like these for the fact that you can maneuver it any which way you want. I also purposely misalign the binding posts so that when you put the clip cord in, it wants to stay over to the side. It doesn't want to flop around. And so you get a good solid connection that way with it not flailing around. There's also 2 binding post holes. So if one hole started to wear out, you can use the other. And if they start to get even more sloppy, you can always rotate one of the binding posts in or out just a little bit more, just to kind of make it grip the clip cord a little bit better and get a better connection. Think I just about covered it. With higher speeds, I like higher tension cartridges. This one is from a legacy cartridge from Needle Jig, and they seem to have a pretty good tension overall. It's not too tough and not too loose. They stay pretty stable at high volts. I've had good luck with the ones from Hexus, and I've had Good Guy and Saltwater Supply, T-Tech. They all work fine. There's a couple companies that have pretty loose tension, and if you're trying to run this at high volts, it may get a little squirrely on you. Okay, now as far as standard needles go, like I said earlier, I think I like to use just a hard black rubber nipple that I sell on my site. And there's other companies that make a hard nipple, like I think Tatsol has a hard nipple that's pretty good, and Good Guy Supply sells these pink ones that are pretty firm. They work. You don't need the nylon with the standard needle as much, just because you don't have that excess tension that's pushing on it that hard. I would recommend though, if you are using standard needles, make sure that the needle loop isn't too loose or too tight, and that you may want to use the taper pin just so that you're not binding it up and cocking the needle off and making it throw it side to side. The other thing, I don't know if I can get it to do it on here, but if it starts getting squirrely, it never does it when I'm trying to make a video. You can always kind of just adjust the rubber bands to get it to kind of pull up on the needle a little bit more, and that'll help it stabilize. I think I about covered everything. I hope you guys enjoy this machine. I hope the video was helpful for you. There's going to be more info on the care sheet and on my website. If there's any questions, you can email me, and I'll try to address those questions on the site or in your email. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it.